under 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title again for Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles won a big race in Tokyo and showed four fingers to everyone watching. But this was not just any win. He did something that only one other person had ever done before, the fastest man in history, Usain Bolt. And right after matching Bolt's record, Lyles said something that shocked everyone. He told the world he was not stopping there. He was coming for even more. And that is where the controversy with Usain Bolt really begins. In September 2025, the World Athletics Championships took place in Tokyo, Japan. Noah Lyles was a central figure at this event. The American sprinter had something to prove. Just 5 days earlier, he had won bronze in the 100 meters. Not bad for most people, but for Lyles, it was not enough. The 200 meters was his race. This was where he shined brightest. The day before the final, Lyles ran in the semifinals. He crossed the line in 19.51 seconds. That was the fastest time anyone had run all year. It was also the fastest semifinal time in history. People started wondering, could he go even faster in the final? When final day came, almost 60,000 fans packed the stadium. The race was incredibly close. Four runners were separated by just 0.13 seconds. Lyles did not have the best start. Coming off the turn, he was tied for fourth place. But then something special happened. In the last 40 meters, Lyles used his incredible top-end speed. He passed everyone and won in 19.52 seconds. His teammate Kenny Bednarek finished second in 19.58, and a young Jamaican named Brian Level got bronze in 19.64. As soon as Lyles crossed the line, he raised four fingers high in the air. He shouted into the TV camera, "That's four, baby! What did those four fingers mean?"
Of course. It's number 4, baby!
Noah Lyles had just won his fourth world championship in the 200 meters in a row. He won in 2019, 2022, 2023, and now 2025. Only one other person in history had ever done this, Usain Bolt. Bolt won 4 straight world titles from 2009 to 2015. Now Lyles had joined him. But here is where things get really interesting. Right after winning, Lyles made a bold statement. He said, "I can't wait for 2027 to become the only man to win 5 200-meter titles." He was not satisfied with tying Bolt's record. He wanted to break it. This victory meant something extra special to Lyles. You see, the last time he raced in this same stadium in Tokyo, things went very differently. That was in 2021 at the Olympic Games. Because of COVID, there were no fans in the stands. Lyles was struggling with his mental health. He was depressed. He ran the 200 meters and only got bronze. It was a painful memory. But now, 4 years later, everything was different. After winning in 2025, Lyles talked about how he felt. He said, "I don't have good memories from Tokyo in 2021. At that time, I was depressed, but this time I am energized. I love what I do and I am happy." His face was everywhere in Tokyo. Fans loved him. He had the support he needed. He called it a joyous moment he would keep forever. Now, let me tell you about the beef between Lyles and Bolt. Yes, there is definitely some tension here. Earlier in 2025, Usain Bolt was asked a question. Why can't modern sprinters get close to his world records? Bolt gave a pretty harsh answer. He said, "You want the real answer? We're just more talented. That's all I'm saying." Bolt went on to say something even more pointed. He talked about how women sprinters are running faster with new shoes and better technology. Then he said, "I'm just saying you can't run faster with brand new spikes. We're just way more talented men." Those are fighting words. Bolt was basically saying that runners today have better equipment but still cannot beat his times because they are not as talented as he and his generation were. Noah Lyles heard these comments, and he did not stay quiet. In an interview with an Italian sports newspaper, Lyles fired back. He said, "Next season will be a season without any major global events, without any major stress. It's natural for me to look beyond that, but in reality, I have a more immediate goal." What is that goal? Lyles made it crystal clear. He said, "I'd like to create the right opportunity to go after Bolt's 19.19 world record." Yes, you heard that right. Noah Lyles is coming for the 200-meter world record that Bolt set way back in 2009. That record has stood for 16 years. Many have tried to break it. All have failed. But Lyles believes he can do it. His personal best is 19.31 seconds, which he ran in Eugene in 2022. That makes him the third fastest man in history. Only Bolt and another Jamaican sprinter named Johan Blake have run faster. Blake ran 19.26 inches, 2011. Lyles needs to run 0.12 seconds faster to break Bolt's record. That might not sound like much, but in sprinting, it is a huge gap. Lyles has thought carefully about when and how to attack this record. He explained that running at big championships like the Olympics or World Championships is not the best time to break records. Why? Because at those events, runners compete many times in 1 week. By the time you get to the final, you are tired. You are in your 6th race of the week. It is hard to be super fast when your body is exhausted. Lyles wants to do something different. He wants to create special events where he only runs once or twice. He can be fresh. He can focus everything on one race. He explained it like this. He said, 2 or 3 specially created events in the space of a month with the best players, by invitation, competing in one-off matches. In the World Championship final, when you're in the 6th round in a week, it's difficult to be incredibly strong. This would be different. The timing is perfect. The year 2026 has no Olympics and no World Championships. This means Lyles can plan his entire season around breaking that world record. No pressure from big competitions. No defending titles. Just one goal: run faster than 19.19 seconds. But confidence is not new for Noah Lyles. Back in 2023, he was already talking about breaking Bolt's record. He said, "I know that I'm going to break it." The second most popular favorite hobby of humans after watching somebody achieve greatness is watching them fail. People love to watch people fail. But Lyles does not care what people think. He said, "I can give 0 cares about what other people think. Because they don't know me, they don't know my story, they don't know what I do, they don't know how hard I work, how talented I am, but I know." That is the mindset of a champion. He believes in himself even when others doubt him. In another interview, Lyles made an interesting comparison between himself and Bolt. Someone asked him if he thinks he is a better 200-meter runner than Bolt. Lyles said he is more consistent. He explained that at this stage of his career, he is running more 200-meter races than Bolt did. Bolt ran fewer races in the second half of his career because of injuries and other issues. Lyles said,
"I'd say I'm a more consistent runner. My consistency at running fast times is a lot higher." But
he also talked about his fighting spirit. He said,
but I'm the guy who's always coming in for the fight. I'm never going to shy away. This year I had an injury. I threw myself into one of the fastest 200s of the year as my first race. Came out the victor.
At 28 years old, Lyles is entering the best years of his career. Most sprinters peak in their late 20 seconds and early 30 seconds. This means the next few years are crucial. If Lyles is going to break these records and cement his legacy, it needs to happen soon.
I know I've run my last lap when I leave a World Championships with 0 medals.
At the top of the sprinting world, Noah Lyles has stunned fans and fellow athletes with a surprising confession. Despite being at the peak of his career, with Olympic gold and multiple World Championship titles, Lyles has already spoken openly about retirement. His words sent shockwaves through the track and field community. "I know I've run my last lap when I leave a World Championships with 0 medals. And it wasn't because of injury or something like that." At just 28 years old, Lyles has achieved almost everything an athlete could dream of. He holds an Olympic gold in the 100 meters, an American record in the 200 meters at 19.31 seconds, and a sprint treble from the 2023 World Championships. In Tokyo 2025, he once again proved his dominance, taking gold in the 200 meters for the 4th straight time and anchoring Team USA to a 4x100m relay victory. Yet, in the middle of all the glory, Lyles is already thinking about the finish line of his career. In a candid interview with Speakeasy, he revealed that his retirement will not be dragged out. He won't linger in the sport past his prime. Instead, he plans to exit with dignity, likely between 2028 and 2032. That means fans may never see him on the track at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics, where he would be 35. Laughing at the idea of running into his 40 seconds, Lyles firmly stated, "Will I be sprinting until 45? Certainly not." For him, age 34 or 35 marks the final stage of his journey. This honest talk about the end comes from a man who's endured both triumph and heartbreak. At the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, Lyles battled depression and personal struggles. He still managed to win bronze in the 200 meters, but the medal felt empty. He knew he hadn't tapped his full potential. That perspective shaped his hunger for redemption. By the time of the Tokyo World Championships in 2025, he was back on top, smiling as he claimed his 4th consecutive 200 meters crown. His resilience has made his victories even sweeter and his reflections even deeper. After the Paris Olympics in 2024, when he turned 27, Lyles realized he had crossed into the second half of his career. Paris was the halfway mark for me. Turning 26 to 27, I thought, okay, I'm on the other side of the hill now. Rather than fear aging, he uses it as motivation to push harder, savoring every season. Lyles' resume speaks for itself. He is undeniably one of the fastest men to ever live. In the 100 meters, he clocked a blazing 9.79 seconds at the 2024 Paris Olympics, solidifying his dominance in the sprint's most iconic event. His mastery of the 200 meters is even more historic, with a 19.31 second run in Eugene in 2022, setting the American record and ranking as the third fastest time in history. Indoors, he has shown the same explosive power, sprinting 60 meters in 6.43 seconds in Albuquerque in 2024. And in the rarely run 150 meters, Lyles left his mark with a national record of 14.41 seconds in Atlanta that same year. Together, these performances highlight not just his versatility, but also his consistency across every distance he takes on. He's a two-time Olympic medalist in the 200 meters, a 100 meters Olympic champion, and an 8-time world champion. At the 2023 World Championships in Budapest, he completed the rare sprint treble, winning gold in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 4x100m relay. But it's not just the medals, it's his personality, his showmanship, and his openness that have made him a global star. From his flamboyant entrances to his candid interviews, Lyles has carried the sport on his shoulders at a time when athletics needs fresh energy. Lyles is already looking at the future beyond himself. At the Tokyo Worlds, he was the second oldest finalist in the 200 meters. Around him were rising stars Oblique Seville and Kishane Thompson at 24, Brian Level at 21, and Letsile Tebogo, the two-year-old Olympic champion. Even younger, Australia's Gout, just 17, made headlines as the youngest competitor in the 200 meters. Lyles doesn't see them as threats, he sees them as the future. When I leave with 0 medals, it's time for the swan song. Time to let the next generation have it. Speaking about Gout, Lyles was realistic. He's obviously so young and very talented, you've got to be a business person and you've got to be it young. That's the hardest part about being such a young talent. By acknowledging these younger athletes, Lyles shows both humility and foresight. He knows his role isn't just to dominate, but also to inspire and prepare the sport for its future stars. He has even embraced mentorship through camps and sponsor events, where he interacts with teenagers dreaming of Olympic stardom. For Lyles, legacy isn't just measured in medals, it's about leaving track and field stronger than he found it. Looking back, Lyles' journey has been marked by resilience. From his early days battling asthma and switching from gymnastics to track to narrowly missing the 2016 Olympics, his rise was never straightforward. But by 2019, he had already become a double world champion, and by 2022, he had broken Michael Johnson's 200 meters national record. His story is also about balance. He's spoken openly about mental health, about battling doubt, and about the importance of surrounding himself with the right team. His current coach, Lance Brahman, and his close circle have been key to his consistency. If I really push everything I want out of every year and month and week and day that I have, I don't think I'll ever regret any of the years, Lyles once said. That philosophy has carried him through the highs and lows, and it shapes how he sees the end, not as something to fear, but as a natural chapter. Noah Lyles isn't just an athlete, he's also a creator. His YouTube channel has over 356,000 subscribers and more than 36 million views, giving fans an inside look at his training, lifestyle, and personality. He understands the importance of building a brand and connecting with fans beyond the stopwatch. From racing ice show speed in a viral 50 meters exhibition organized by Mr. Beast to speaking out on social issues, Lyles has embraced the modern role of athlete as entertainer, influencer, and leader. He has even used his platform to spotlight mental health, encouraging younger athletes to seek help when they struggle, just as he once did. That's why his retirement comments landed so heavily. For fans, it feels unthinkable that the reigning king of sprinting is already imagining his final race. But for Lyles, the announcement isn't about quitting, it's about clarity. He doesn't want to fade away, he wants to leave at the top on his terms. The window he gave between 2028 and 2032 means fans still have years to watch him electrify stadiums, but it also sets a countdown clock. Every championship, every Olympics from now on could be one step closer to his farewell. Noah Lyles has shocked the world, not by slowing down, but by being honest about how he wants his story to end. He's still winning, still dominating, and still breaking barriers. Yet he already sees the day he'll hand the baton to the next generation. For now, the Sprint King is still very much on his throne, but when he finally steps down, it won't be because age defeated him. It will be because he chose the perfect moment to say goodbye. Until then, every race, every victory, and every medal matters even more, for him, for the sport, and for the millions of fans who don't want to imagine track and field without Noah Lyles.
But watch Seville on the near side. It's ever so close. Seville from Thompson. Lyles at...
Oblique Seville kept losing when it mattered most. He would run really fast. He would make it to the big final race. And then, 4th place, every single time. Not 3rd place with a medal. 4th place with nothing. Just sadness. But something amazing happened in Tokyo. The greatest runner ever, Usain Bolt, was watching from his seat. And this time, everything was different. On September 14th, 2025, at the World Championships in Tokyo, the men's 100-meter final took place. This wasn't just any race. Jamaica hadn't won this title in almost 10 years. Since Usain Bolt retired, American sprinters had been winning everything. 4 world titles in a row for Team USA. Jamaica needed someone to bring the gold back home. And there he was, Oblique Seville, 24 years old, standing just 5'7", about to race against the fastest men on earth. And up in the stands watching every single moment was Usain Bolt himself. But first, let's talk about who Oblique Seville is. When he was just 10 years old, he told his mom something pretty bold. He said he wanted to be trained by Usain Bolt's coach, not just any coach, Glenn Mills, the man who helped make Bolt the fastest human ever. And somehow, that dream actually happened. Seville joined the famous Racers Track Club in Jamaica, and Glenn Mills became his coach. But having a great coach doesn't mean winning is easy. Far from it. In 2022, Seville went to the World Championships. He ran the fastest time in the semifinals. Everyone thought he'd get a medal. He finished 4th. No medal. In 2023, he went back to the World Championships in Budapest. Again, he had the fastest time going into the final. He ran 9.88 seconds. That's crazy fast. But guess what? He finished 4th again. Same time as the guys who got silver and bronze. The photo finish showed he was just 0.04 of a second away from a medal. Then came the 2024 Olympics in Paris. This was supposed to be his moment. He ran the fastest time in the semifinals, faster than everyone. But in the final, disaster struck. He got injured during the race. His hamstring gave out. He finished dead last. 8th place, after being the fastest in the semis. People started doubting him. They wondered if he could handle the pressure, if he could actually win when it mattered most. Some people even wrote him off completely. But Seville didn't give up. He kept training. He kept working with Glenn Mills. And he figured something out. All season long, he'd been struggling with the last 30 to 40 meters of his races. He wasn't finishing strong. He didn't even realize it at first. But once he knew what the problem was, he fixed it. Now back to Tokyo. September 14th, race day. The semifinals happened first, and right away, you could see something was different. Usain Thompson and Kenny Bednarik both ran 9.85 seconds, exactly the same time down to the 1,000th of a second. They were the fastest qualifiers. Noah Lyles, the defending champion and Olympic gold medalist, had to recover from a bad start but still made it through with 9.92. But then came Seville's semifinal. He ran 9.86, really smooth, really fast. And when he crossed the finish line, he did something interesting. He put his finger to his lips, like he was telling everyone to be quiet, to stop doubting him. Less than 2 hours later, the final was about to start. The stadium was packed, hot and humid, felt like a giant steam room, but the energy was electric. Up in a VIP box, Usain Bolt sat watching, the man with 8 Olympic gold medals and 11 world titles, the fastest human being who ever lived. He was there to see if Jamaica could finally win again. Down on the track, the 8 finalists were getting ready. Noah Lyles was doing his usual thing. When they announced his name, he raised his arms like a boxer and roared at the crowd. He'd said earlier that he was in the best shape of his life. That confidence never goes away with Lyles.